Alright, what's happening to me? Alright, so, the blood sugar and insulin. So, just put your hands up please if you've heard of glycemic index. Sorry, what was that? So glycemic index. So, we know what a high glycemic index is, and low glycemic index. Here's why it's really important that you know that. And generally speaking, we can say foods that are highly processed are generally high glycemic index. Foods that are low processed are generally low. Okay, like say, a steak is low glycemic index, or maybe an orange is low glycemic index than say orange juice. But orange juice, we just take it, you got a cow, and blood sugar goes. So now, what happens when we take in that high glycemic index is our blood glucose level jumps up. It's important to know because what happens is when our blood glucose jumps up, the body goes, whoa, I need to stabilize this. So it releases a hormone called insulin. The insulin gets released and it brings the blood sugar down. But it's kind of like does anyone have kids? Kids? Okay, great. So, right, yeah, fantastic. I have a 3-year-old right now. She is a great, she's helping me be a better person than every day. When our kids start overacting, all right, and they start doing stuff, at first we're like, yeah, everything's fine. And all of a sudden they do something, it's like, whoa, hold up, and we get really sort of like frustrated and angry, and we overreact. Our insulin overreacts, and our blood sugar drops down below neutral level. And then it comes up again, and it's like zigzags a little bit, and then maybe it drops down low here, and we go, whoa, you know what, actually my blood sugar just dropped. Now I feel really crappy, I need some more energy. So we have something quickly because we feel our blood sugar is low, and then that jumps us up again, and then we're off to the races again on a happy roller coaster all day. Unfortunately, the big thing you need to know is that when we release insulin, it retards our body's ability to break down fat cells. So if we can keep our blood sugar level by eating low glycemic index foods and healthy foods that will be slowly released into our body, foods that are high satiety, if you will. High satiety meaning if I eat it, it's going to make me feel food for a long time. Foods that where I have to chew it and crunch it and really like. The grapefruit diet was a diet in the 80s that I don't necessarily adhere to, but what I loved about it is that to eat 2,000 calories worth of grapefruit, you have to take in 25 pounds of grapefruit. Can you imagine the size of your muscles? Like, yeah, take it out. Right? And your muscles totally ripped from all this grapefruit. So, if I look at this, if you want to remove the barrier, not accelerate the fat loss, but just remove the things that are stopping weight loss, then let's just take a look at that and say, okay, I know that if I can keep this low, if I can create a strategy where I know I'm going to eat ahead of time before I get hungry, I know I always get hungry at 4 in the afternoon, so I'm going to have something small to eat at 3:30. Then maybe, just maybe, that'll prevent that drop, so when I get home I can make a smart choice. Is this helping you guys? Okay, I'm really having a good time. Hopefully you guys are too. So, alright, what's in your life? So, the idea is, okay, also if we have that high-low, the body learns to hang on to the fat. So like when my daughter one day is 13, 14, starts asking for allowance, then she'll blow it all on fingernail polish or whatever 13-year-olds spend it on. I don't know yet. I don't know, I'm a guy, right? So when she blows it all, okay, then I'll say, she'll come back to me and say, hey Dad, can I have some more? When the body breaks down, when the body breaks, like I keep getting signals to the body to say, hey, hang on to the fat. And sooner or later the body goes, well, just hang on to it. And then eventually we've got this fat that sort of just hangs around. We've had it for a while, it just stays there. If we want to get it loose, be patient. We didn't get there overnight, we won't lose it overnight. But if we can create the strategy, then good things will happen. Okay, so I'm going to talk about 6 strategies. Number 1 is guilt reduction. And what I mean by that is, if we say, I'm going to eat the perfect food, this is it. You know, I'm highly motivated by Jamie Atlas, thank you very much, thank you. And, but I want you to know, okay, what I'm going to do is put a strategy in place for you. And I'm going to say, if you can, when you feel the urge for a food, you're like, man, I really need a this or a that. It's the nickel and dime that'll ruin us. It's those small little bits and pieces that we eat over time. And now you understand, with that fluctuation of blood sugar, the body learns to preserve its own fat. So, if I can look at this and I can say, okay, what is it that I crave? I can say, you know what, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to eat a reward meal. Now I want you to do it after some sort of a brisk walk or high energy exercise. I'm going to hope that all of you are doing some sort of activity. If you can do something that feels like it's a high intensity exercise for you that doesn't put you at risk, then what that's going to do is actually give you a 2-hour window. And this is something that you don't know. It's not common knowledge. When I was working at the Sydney Olympics, this is how we would work with our athletes. Because when our athletes were trained, we needed them to refill their muscle stores very quickly. So we would have them eat all sorts of food that would quickly get into the system. If you watch the Sydney Olympics, the Beijing Olympics, Michael Phelps would get in the pool, swim. Sometimes he'd go so fast he didn't even get wet. And then he'd pop out. They'd sit down, his coach would hand him a gallon jug of chocolate milk. Did anyone see that? No? Did you see it? So a gallon jug of chocolate milk. Why? Because chocolate milk is high in sugar and quickly gets absorbed into the body. And we want that if I'm an athlete, because I need to perform again. If you want the energy to be stored in the muscles and not in the stores, then write down what it is that you're going to eat. Savor it, enjoy it. Like, really think about that moment when you're going to have the pancakes that you have with your son or daughter every Sunday. You know, and then think about, okay, I'm also going to have maybe a Kit Kat, or, I mean, don't have a Kit Kat, have something that's really good. Have something that's like, man, savor, like, really like a childhood memory thing. Kit Kats are like the rats of the chocolate world, right? Okay, you're going to eat some chocolate, eat something that's like handcrafted or like really, really good. So, So what I want you to do is know that you have a 2-hour window following something that feels intense to you. You have a 2-hour window where the muscle cells open up like clouds. Okay, and you can eat that food. Now, don't go crazy. You're still looking calories in, calories out. But at the same time, the body will take that and absorb it. That's going to have the effect of the blood sugar not being as high. The blood sugar will be deadened, which means the fat cells won't get that signal they normally get when you eat this food to say, whoa, hold up. Your body will still continue to break down fat cells as if nothing else ever happened. Does that make sense? Okay, so when you feel that craving, it also has the effect of me going, okay, I can eat this without guilt. And then someone says, oh, come on, just have a piece. It's Frank, Jan's, Sarah's, Alex's birthday. Okay, and I go, oh God, well, I really don't want Frank, Jan, Alex, Sarah to feel bad, and the best way for me to insult them is to not eat the cake, because then they'll really take it personally. Maybe I can just nibble a little bit and put it aside and be like, yeah, it's delicious. So the thing to know is, that way you can eat it, rather than say eating something and then being like eating a piece of cake and be like, oh God, right. You know what, I'm going to have this as well. And then we'll go over and find something else to eat. And then before we know it, we're in this downward spiral, sitting in our living room with the lights off, in our underwear, eating all sorts of things. Going, I hate myself right now. Possibly accept 1 to 2 pounds of bacon every day or 2 following that. Okay, so know that the scale's going to jump. The scale's going to jump if you do that. That's okay though, because the metabolism will jump up with it. It'll absorb it. Right, again, we don't want to go crazy, but the truth is, if you're going to eat these foods, let's eat them in that order. And then, let's do that once every couple of weeks. Not on a daily basis. Body can't do it on a daily basis. If you give yourself a reward meal for being so good, being on this side of the line, then all of a sudden, we don't feel guilty about it, and we don't get all these psychological barriers that kick in that we all have related down to. The net effect will be an increased metabolism and reduced desire of cravings. You guys like that idea? Good. Alright, number 2. Avoid the white devils. So, we want to talk about high glycemic foods. Okay? Rice, cereal, potatoes, pasta, breaded foods, animal fats, vegetable fats can be thrown in there a little bit as well, depending on which one. The fats are questionable, but I would say definitely, depending on which vegetable fat you're talking about, depending on which animal fat you're talking about. But the rice, cereal, potatoes, pasta, breaded foods, let's just take those out. Let's just take those out because they're not helping us. So, or if you need them, let's eat them. Let's eat the healthy things, the real things, the beans, the legumes, the vegetables, the fruits in fruit form, not in juice form, but in fruit form. The meats, the healthy meats, not the sort of like ground up sort of like leftover hamburger meat, but the good, solid, hormone-free, antibiotic-free meats. Now, I joke with people about my food bill being greater than my mortgage, but it is. It is. Because I buy everything I get. I try to live what I'm talking about. Now, it doesn't make me tear up a little bit every time I see the food bill, but yes. But at the same time, I've taken the philosophy that I'm going to take it, that I'm going to pay for it now rather than at the doctor's office later. Read the label. Yes. I saw a sticker the other day that said, and there's lots of commercials out there talking about corn syrup, high fructose corn syrup. You know, it's okay. No, it's not okay. And then I saw a really cool bumper sticker which said, "Ask your doctor if medical advice from a TV commercial is right for you." And you know, I'm not here to say that this is right. Well, everything you're hearing right now is sort of me going, you know what, really consider this. Consider it strongly. Don't believe me. Please research this stuff. I know I'm standing up here as an expert, and I've got 20 years of experience. I've spent a lot of time researching this, and I've worked really hard to try and make sure that my people have a program that works for them in the real world. And so I'm going to say that if we can just start reading the label, if I can give you one thing to look for, high fructose corn syrup would be it. In the 1940s, we had 15 grams. In 2005, we had 72 grams of fructose. And then sort of in about 5 years, we went from there from 72 grams. This is a teeny tiny amount. For you Americans that don't know grams, right? And now 75 pounds. 75 pounds! Ooh, that's a lot of sugar. We are just loving that sugar. Sucrose. Sucrose is table sugar. Sucrose is half fructose, half glucose. So actually, we're getting some fructose every time we have table sugar, but it's only half. Here's why I don't like high fructose corn syrup, because glucose, when I say glucose, have you ever seen athletes running that they might pop a jelly bean in, or they might see like an energy drink, they'll say 100% glucose. Okay, glucose is absorbed directly into the organs. Body can take it and knows exactly what to do with it. It's natural. However, it all has to go through the liver for the fructose. So high fructose corn syrup can only be processed by the liver. So while it might be the same coming down here, the body uses it in a very different way. And it's almost like putting leaded fuel in an unleaded car. You know, the car can use it, but there's a lot of off-gas and products and maybe a little whiz-bang that happens with the engine that we don't necessarily want. And again, research high fructose corn syrup. If you go on YouTube and see some of the videos that have been done by some well-known college professors, you'll see some really scary things. Scary enough for me to talk to you about it today. The big 11. Alright, here's what's really, really fun. We don't realize it, but most of us eat 11 meals. We pretty much rotate through those. We find 11 meals and we just go, okay, cool, what should I have tonight? Well, I normally have this, or this. So if we could do this, if we could just say, you know what, when I'm at home, what meals can I make? What's a new meal I can make that would replace the one I normally have? What about in the office? At the office, we're always saying, okay, what do I have for lunch? What's around the office? What's close to the office? What's a healthy choice that's needed? I don't need you, and again, I'm not saying you can't eat these other foods ever again. What I'm saying is, know your strategy. Know your strategy. Know what's going to work for you. On the road, when I'm on the road and I'm driving, okay, man, all of a sudden I just got hungry. Where do I go? What do I do? Do I go to Chipotle and get a salad? Did I know that Chipotle does salads? Did I know that you can go to Jimmy John's and you can ask for an unwich, where they'll wrap a big piece of lettuce leaf around your sandwich? Your favourite hangout, where you go? You know, Joe's Crab Shack. Does Joe's Crab Shack have salads? Does Joe's Crab Shack have chicken breast on there? Does Joe's Crab Shack have something that isn't bathed in a large cheese vat? Okay. Something like that. Look at the menu. Look at what you normally have, and then look at what other health options there are. I won't fault you for making bad choices, but I'll fault you for making bad choices where there are good choices available. Is that fair enough? The big 11. If you can write down 11 healthy meals that you realistically think you would eat, then you are well on your way. Because if you start making those and make those a habit, then really the rest of this is going to be superfluous.